I've been hearing from so many of you that you are waiting for interest rates to go down before making a home purchase. I completely understand that. With interest rates hovering between 6.5% and 7%, it is really expensive to buy a home right now. However, I do just want to put this out there that the longer you wait, the more home prices are gonna be going up. And also, in the event that interest rates go down, we're gonna be back to 2021 status where there is so much competition for homes that it is exhausting, and it also causes the home prices to go up and up and up and up. Competition just leads to higher prices. In today's video, we are going to actually be deep diving into the numbers of what it will cost to buy a home in the Baltimore area for $465,000. Based on taking a look at these numbers, you can make a decision for yourself if something within this price range is reasonable and what are all the fees and costs that actually go into making this type of home purchase. If you are new to the channel, welcome. You have come to the right place for all there is to know about living, working, playing, and thriving in the Baltimore Metro region and beyond. My name is Persia. I'm a local Maryland realtor, and every day I get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you who are thinking about buying or selling in the Baltimore Metro area, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking about making a move in the next 9 days or 90 days, please reach out to me and to my team. We would absolutely love to help you make a smooth transition in Baltimore. You can call us, text us, email us. We can set up a video chat, and it would be our pleasure to help you make that smooth move. Okay, so the house that we are talking about today is a sweet house in Towson, Maryland. Now, Towson is one of my favorite Baltimore suburbs. I have other videos on the channel all about Towson that you can explore. But the reason why I wanted to highlight this particular property, number one, is that it is super stylish. The sellers of this particular home were actually designers who, designed the wallpaper, who did an amazing job with creating an aesthetically beautiful home. And they really took this property and completely transformed it from the boring house that it was before being listed, which is awesome. Another reason why I really like this home is that it is close to Towson University and kind of everywhere that you want to be in Towson. So it's walkable to Towson Circle, to Towson Mall, to Towson University. And actually the reason why the sellers purchased this property back in 2021 was because their son was a student at Towson University and they lived on the West Coast, and so wanted it as their landing pad for when they were in town visiting their son. So it's an amazing location and one that is really desirable. Another interesting thing about this particular property is that when the sellers were not using it as their landing pad, it was an Airbnb. So they listed it on Airbnb, and they had lots of activity from folks who also were visiting the Towson area for various reasons, and actually had a lot of positive feedback and a lot of happy visitors in this particular property. So as you can see, this property is absolutely gorgeous. It has a beautiful front porch. It has a back deck. It has 3 bedrooms. It has 2 bathrooms. And one of the things that I love most, again, is its walkability and just the fact that it's modern, it's updated, it's stylish, and it has a newly renovated kitchen, a newly renovated bathroom. The landscaping is on point. This house is just over 1,100 square feet, and we listed it at $465,000. So in order for us to do just that, I'm going to dive into the computer. I am going to work on our handy dandy buyer's estimated cost sheet so that you can see all of the costs associated with purchasing a house in Baltimore at this price point, and also so that we can talk about the 2 most important numbers, which is how much cash that you are going to need to bring to settlement for this price and how much your monthly payment will be. Let's go. Okay, here we are in the handy dandy buyer estimated closing cost worksheet. We are going to start at the upper left-hand corner of the document, which is the sale price. Here we will just put list price, which is $465,000. We have a settlement date, which is required. Normally settlement is going to be 30 to 45 days from the date that you would go under contract. So we'll just do about a month from today, which is going to be October 3rd. We have taxes, which are automatically imported, which are $2,600 approximately for the year. We need to put in an interest rate, which I am going to put in 6.8%. Right now, interest rates are hovering between about 6.5% and 7%, so I'm going to go right in the middle of that at 6.8. Here is where we can put any seller assistance. These are concessions that are given to the seller at settlement that would go from their side of the settlement statement over to yours. This can be because you need help with closing costs. This could be because you've negotiated repairs, money towards repairs after settlement. We're going to just leave this as zero for right now for the purposes of knowing the true cost of a home that is $465,000 in the Baltimore area. However, please note that if you have a conventional loan, you can ask for up to 3% of your purchase price of a house in closing cost assistance and seller assistance. If you have an FHA loan, you can ask for up to 6% of the purchase price of a house in a seller concession. And if you have a VA loan, you can ask for up to 4% as a concession from the seller, which is amazing because that's automatic money off of the amount that you will have to bring to settlement for your closing costs. So something great to keep in mind, but we're going to leave it at zero here. Loan type. So again, here we can select from all of the possibilities: cash, conventional, FHA, USDA, or VA. We're going to select conventional. As you can see with a conventional loan, they automatically put you here at 20%. However, it is very rare that folks put the full 20% down. It is awesome if you are able to do that, obviously, because it reduces your principal amount and how much interest that you're being charged. It also eliminates being charged PMI or private mortgage insurance, which is required on all loans that are below 20% of the value of the home, right? So if you're putting less than 20% down, you will have to pay PMI. So that's something to keep in mind. But I will tell you just from experience and the clients that I work with regularly, putting 20% down is quite rare. It's more common to put anywhere between 3% to 10% down. If you're a first-time buyer with a conventional loan, sometimes you are able to put as little as 3% down. So just for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to put 3%, but please remember that you absolutely can put down more. And you should, if you have the cash, to be able to do that, because again, it reduces the amount of principal on your loan and how much interest that you will pay over time. Okay, so you're going to get a fixed rate mortgage. And so this means that the amount that you are financing is $451,050 over 30 years. Okay. Here underneath we have your closing costs. So we have like any mortgage origination fees. Your lender will let you know if you have any fees. I'm going to leave that blank for now. The appraisal is prepaid, meaning that you pay that before settlement. And these days it's closer to $500 or $600. So I'm going to change that. You also have other closing costs that are going to be charged, like getting your credit report, mortgage insurance, document preparation. So all of these are fees that are going to be paid by you at settlement. And, the cost varies depending on the title company that you're working with, depending on the lender that you are working with. But for this one, let's just pretend that they charge you like $20 for the courier, $20 for the wire fee, so that will be a subtotal of about $3,300, let's estimate, for some of your closing costs. You also are going to need title insurance, and title insurance is super important. All of my clients must get title insurance, and the reason is that it protects you and your property from any errors, any omissions, any heirs, meaning people who might feel that they have title or ownership to the property. If anybody pops up and says, hey, actually, this is my house, not your house, or there's any kind of funkiness with the paperwork, title insurance will protect you. So that's super important and definitely worth the money. Okay. If we go over to this right-hand column, we will see it asks you for your earnest money deposit. I'm going to put $4,500 because generally The amount of earnest money that you put down is going to be about 1% of the purchase price of the home. Earnest money is basically skin in the game, so it's showing the seller that you are serious about moving forward with the purchase, and that money is held in escrow by the title company and then is used towards your closing costs at settlement. Okay. Mortgage insurance, you will, again, if you're only putting 3% down, which is what we put here, then you will have to pay mortgage insurance. Okay. Here we have other closing costs in this column. If you're a first-time home buyer, you get a little bit of a discount when it comes to your transfer taxes. You only pay 0.5% towards your transfer taxes based on the purchase price. However, if you're not a first-time home buyer, you'll see that that goes up to 1%. So first-time home buyers in the state of Maryland do have a little bit of a financial incentive, which is awesome. You pay less in transfer taxes. You will also have to pay a state recordation tax, which is basically for the state to record your deed recording, mortgage recording. So all of these are other closing costs that you will have to pay. You have to have homeowners insurance, obviously, to insure your property. So I'm just going to put $1,100, which is probably generous. You probably can find something that's less than that monthly, but I'm going to put that in just for the exercise. Then we have prepaid items, right? Such as your home inspection. I'm going to put about $450. It's going to range between $400 and I would say $600 for a home of this size. Termite inspection is important to get. A radon inspection I always highly recommend, as well as a septic inspection. Septic is to just make sure that there are no breaks, no blockages in your sewer line, because that can be incredibly expensive to repair. So we want to know if there are any issues with the sewer line before the home becomes yours. Okay, so all of those are prepaid items, meaning you are going to pay them before you go before settlement. Okay, and that's really important to know, because all of this money for these inspections and for the appraisal, all of this is cash that you are going to have on hand to be able to pay for these things prior to settlement. So that's important for you to know about. Okay, there are no homeowners association fees or condo association fees with this particular property. And another fee to know is a brokerage fee. Our team hangs its license with Compass. Compass is the name of our brokerage. Our fee is a one-time fee of $450 that is paid at the time of settlement. All brokerages have them, whether it's Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Cummings and Company, any company has them, and ours is $450 one-time fee. So then it gives you another subtotal, which is about $6,000. Then below to the left, we have lender escrows, and these are all of the monies that the lender is going to keep in escrow to pay your taxes, pay your HOA fee, pay all of those fees. So that is here. Okay, and you can see the total amount that the lender is going to be holding in escrow is $1,923.99. And then any reimbursements that you pay back to the seller. So the taxes that the seller has paid from October through June is going to be reimbursed to the seller, right? Because taxes are paid in a big chunk twice a year by the seller. So anything that they have prepaid, you are going to pay them back for. Okay, so that is all of that. Now, if you look over at the far right-hand column, this is the summary, which I really love because it shows you your purchase price. It shows you the amount in closing costs that you will have to pay, which is $12,568.41. The amount of escrows that the lender is keeping, how much you're reimbursing the seller in taxes. So when it totals all of that up, it shows that the total acquisition cost, the total amount to purchase this house is $481,254.53. Okay. However, a lot of that is prepaid and all of that kind of stuff. So the actual mortgage amount, right? So that's going to be closing costs that you pay at settlement. But the amount that you're actually financing after your down payment is going to be $451,000.50. No, $451.50. Okay, so that is your total mortgage amount. That is the amount that you are financing and paying off every month for the next 30 years. Here, this number is important because it's the total amount of cash that you need to purchase. So with 3% down, which is what you said you were going to put as your down payment, the cash needed to purchase is $30,204.53, okay? But if we subtract your earnest money that you put down, that $4,500, and we subtract anything that you have prepaid, how much cash you will actually need at the time of settlement is only $23,179.53. Okay, so the two most important numbers that you need to know when you are purchasing a home is how much cash do I need at settlement? That is this number. And then the next important number is this one down here, which is how much is this going to cost me per month? Okay, because we need to backwards map. A lender is going to tell you this is how much you can afford based on your income, your assets, your debt, all of that. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the amount that you want to spend every month, right? So this number, your estimated monthly payment of $3,625.98, this is what is important because you need to ask yourself and your family, is this something that is going to be comfortable for us every single month? Okay, so if you are purchasing a $465,000 house with 3% down on a conventional loan, your monthly payment when it comes to principal and interest, real estate taxes, your homeowner's insurance, your mortgage insurance, all of that is going to total to $3625.98. So if that feels comfortable, that's awesome. If it's a little too much, then you might need to lower your purchase price. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you are thinking about buying a $465,000 house in the Baltimore area. So as you can see, it is pricey. I mean, $3,600 a month is a lot of money. I need you to think to yourself, number one, how much are you paying in rent? Number two, could you pay more than that 3% down? And if so, then your financing less and your payment would be less. And all of these things are things to think about if you are wanting to make a purchase in this area in the next year or so. It's also really important to keep in mind, as I mentioned when I was inside the worksheet, that the amount that you finance can be a lot less. Even though you might be able to afford $3,600 a month, you can find a house that's in a different price range. There are houses available that are only $400,000. I just had a listing for that amount. You can find a house that's $350,000 and it would be even less. So this is just the one, picture, one price point, but there are lots of shades in between if this house is too expensive for you. And if you really want to be a homeowner, the opportunity is there. Just reach out to us. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you found the information helpful. Again, if you are thinking about buying or selling in the Baltimore Metro region, anywhere in the surrounding counties, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. We would absolutely love to help you. You can call us, text us, email us. We can set up a video chat, and it will be our pleasure to help you make the move. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.